Good morning and welcome to the second edition of the Global Art and Design Education Expo 2021. My name is Mitali and I'm really happy that you all could join us today. Hope you have a wonderful learning experience at the event. Today we have with us Ms. Anita Bharadwaj from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago from the Northeast of Ohio, and she will be presenting on portfolio tips for scholarships. Thank you, Anita, for joining us. Anita is currently the Assistant Director of International Admissions at the School of Art Institute of Chicago. The school is one of the oldest independent and accredited art schools, and it is highly ranked and has been hailed as one of the most influential art schools in the US. So she joined the School of Art Institute of Chicago with over 15 years of strategy, brand design, advertising, and marketing experience for Fortune 500 companies. Anita developed her passion for the School of the Art Institute of Chicago while she returned to school there as a student, teaching assistant, and summer housing coordinator. Anita has completed her BFA at the Art Institute of Chicago, where she has studied visual communication design, studio practices, and art therapy. Let's hear from Anita. Anita, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I first want to say I hope all of your families are doing well and are healthy. And my heart goes out to everybody there. Please stay safe and healthy. Thank you for joining me this morning. I am going to give you just a very, very brief overview of SAIC, the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. But the bulk of my presentation is really about how to prepare your portfolio for art school applications. It is the most important piece of your application in the process. So it's really important that you follow certain guidelines. So I'm just here to give you some tips. The other thing that's really important about these tips is that your portfolio, once it's submitted for your application, is evaluated for merit scholarship. So it is very, very important that you have your portfolio in tip-top shape and take a few of these recommendations so that you can get the maximum amount of scholarship money. So let me just start. Okay. So this is our campus. This is part of the Art Institute of Chicago. We are located in downtown Chicago in an area called the Loop. That cube there in the center, that's actually the modern wing of the Art Institute. And students frequent the museum. There's two things about SAIC that are really very unique. One, it's truly the only museum campus art and design school in the US. So what that means is that we have a hub of activity that is surrounded around the Art Institute of Chicago, which is the third largest art collection of art in the world. It holds millions of pieces of art, and our faculty and students use it as a resource. So you are going in and out of your studio classes, in and out of the museum. And so you're really using the museum as a tool to further your practice. But it is located in this beautiful city of Chicago. The other thing about SAIC is that we are a part of ACAD, the Association of Independent Colleges of Art and Design. So you should be applying to ACAD schools. If the schools that you are applying to, the art and design schools, are not ACAD schools, you are not applying to the best schools possible. And I say that because it's an organization that 36 leading art and design schools are a part of ACAD across the US and Canada. So if they're not, what this means is that we have particular accreditation that sets us apart from other art and design schools. We have a very rigorous curriculum. We have certain standards of practice for our teaching that merit this distinction. So it's really important. Make sure that the design schools that you're applying to are ACAD schools. The next thing that I wanted to mention is the opportunity to choose to have any one of these 36 schools review your portfolio. And you can do that by going to the link that's on the page here. And you can submit your portfolio, and you can pick and choose what schools you would like to provide you feedback. And this is all before you apply to art school. So this is extremely important that you go to this link and that you have people, faculty and admissions officers like myself, review your portfolio. You can also go directly to the schools that you're applying to, go to their admissions page and request a portfolio review before you apply, before you put in your actual application. Really very important. So a little bit about SAIC. So we're currently ranked as the #2 art and design school in the US, so we're very prestigious. We are also ranked in the top 4 for our graduate program, and any school that is ranked highly for their graduate program is a really good indicator of the caliber of their undergraduate. So keep that in mind for any school that you're applying to. We're also ranked in the top 5 for our fiber arts, painting and drawing, photography, printmaking, sculpture, and time-based media and new media. So that includes film and animation. So another unique thing about SAIC, not only are we truly a museum campus, but we also have an interdisciplinary curriculum. And what that means is that we have no majors. There are pathways in our design programs, such as architecture, fashion, visual communication design or graphic design, designed objects, which is industrial design, I'm missing one, and architecture. But what interdisciplinary means is that you have the ability to build your own major. So you can work across 17 different departments. You can utilize all the resources across those departments for any one concentration that you build yourself. So our programs are the curriculum itself, especially if you're going into a BFA program. Your curriculum will be 1/3 liberal arts and 2/3 studio. So 72 of the 126 credits that you earn to graduate are studio based. So it is completely immersive in the studios. We also have technology that is world class. So we have 3D printers, not only in our designed objects area, but also in our ceramic studio. Our film equipment is state of the art. In fact, you can come to our school to study film and not have any equipment at all. You can simply check those out with your student ID. There's green screens, there's technology labs, etc. All of those the equipment is free for you to use with your student ID. Next, we are a critique-based institution. So what that means is that you are engaging in discussion around your artwork and your peers' artwork to really build your creative and critical thinking skills. The other thing that's unique about SAIC is that we have the largest internship program out of any of the other art and design schools. It's the oldest and the largest. So our students enjoy anywhere from 1 to 4 internships in ranges from galleries to healthcare to technology to startups. We have an incredible entrepreneurial spirit at SAIC. So if there's some place that you'd like to intern at, we can make that happen for you. We also have renowned faculty. Our faculty is known all over the world. They exhibit across the world. They're makers. They have their own practice. That's one mandatory requirement for our faculty, that they are engaged in an active practice so that they are bringing 21st century skills to the classroom. So getting into the portfolio. So like I mentioned, your portfolio is very important because it's your opportunity to get money, to get scholarship money from each of the art schools that you apply to, especially the ACAD schools. The ACAD schools will award up to 73% of the students that apply to ACAD schools receive some sort of a merit scholarship. For SAIC in particular, you can earn up to 30% of your tuition by having an amazing portfolio. So what exactly is a portfolio? Well, it's a selection of your work that's compiled over a period of time, and we use it to assess your progress. So if you are including pieces that you've done in class, that's great, but also include pieces that you've done on the side, things that you're extremely passionate about. For us, it demonstrates your creativity, your personality, your abilities, and really your commitment to your art making practice. You can also include work from pre-college programs. So if you've taken classes at another university in an arts program, please include those pieces. Oftentimes it is the quality of the work and not the quantity. And I will say that over and over again. It is the quality, not the quantity. Every art school that you apply to will have different criteria for portfolio submission. So you're going to want to make sure that you are looking at the exact requirements for each one of those schools. So if you're looking at SAIC and you're looking at MICA and you're looking at CCA and RISD, we all have different requirements for our portfolio. So it's really important that you pay attention to that and you're submitting a portfolio that meets those requirements. So what does it represent? It absolutely should represent your best work. Do not submit work in your portfolio that you are not proud of. If a school is asking for 10 to 15 pieces and you only have 12 of your best work, resist the urge to put in 3 extra pieces that are really not your best work, because that reduces your opportunity for more scholarship money. So again, it really should represent your best work. It should represent some sort of insight, your personal journey, your motivation, your inspiration, and your willingness to challenge yourself. And again, sometimes it's not about how well you create something, but what you choose to create. We are interested in how your mind thinks and how your interpretation of the world. So portfolios come to us in a variety of approaches. The good news is that there's no single way that's the right way, as long as it's your work and it's documented well and the images are clear, it is absolutely fine. So we see portfolios come to us in work in a series. And what that means is that students may take 1 or 2 subject matters and then execute those across several different mediums, but you're really dealing with one topic. And then we see portfolios that are all around one medium. So if you are a graphic designer, perhaps your portfolio will all be graphic design, no painting, no drawing, it's just graphic design. That's absolutely fine. If you are applying for if your portfolio is all paintings, that's absolutely fine. Digital illustration, absolutely fine. If it's just one medium, you're fine. We see a lot of portfolios come to us that are very, very experimental. These are highly scored portfolios. Students that are pushing the limits of the medium, they're taking the unusual pathway rather than the usual pathway, which means, you're not just showing us a bowl of fruit. Perhaps you're showing us a bowl of fruit in a food desert, rotting, or something's happening to it. You're really taking things to the next level. Mediums that are perhaps found objects, things that aren't usually considered as art material or medium. The next, we see a lot of concept-driven portfolios. So this is you exploring a particular topic, whether it's your cultural identity, gender identity, and you're doing that through design, texture, and color. Perhaps you're interested in pop culture, and so your portfolio is really focused around that. That's absolutely fine. Next, we see portfolios come to us in observation and content. So this is making distinct observations that, again, through your eyes, your interpretation of the environment around you. And then lastly, we see breadth portfolios, which is really showing us a mastery of your skills. So you are showing us a mastery of your painting skills, your drawing skills, maybe it's your fashion, skills. It's specifically around really highlighting what you've developed some excellence around. So how many pieces? Again, make sure that you go to the art school's website and find out how many pieces that they're asking for. You want to make sure to include a mix of your artwork, not just what you think are your best work. And this is why you need to have a portfolio review prior to application. So you go to the ACAD website or contact me directly, contact SAIC or any of the other art schools, connect with an admissions counselor so that they can help you curate your portfolio. So we want to see, again, your best work, a hefty dose of those pieces that are, wow, that just take our breath away. Sometimes some of the schools will ask for process work, which can show us how you ended up with your final piece. Oftentimes that will be in graphic design portfolios, designed objects, or industrial design portfolios, or even architecture portfolios. Usually the general rule of thumb is 20 pieces of work. So if all else fails and you feel like you don't have much of a portfolio, lean on your technical skills, because ultimately, we want to see that you can handle medium, you understand scale, you can render things, you can draw, you have basic skills. We like to say, if you can show us that you know what the rules are and then you break the rules, we love those portfolios. If you're showing us a mixture of, your technical expertise plus an example of how you're really pushing the boundaries. So again, you need to have some sort of story behind your portfolio, right? Some sort of thread throughs. What are the things that we can see that are distinctively in each piece? We can see they're distinctively your work. Is there a part of your background? Is there a part of your culture, your ideas, something that you're obsessed about, something that you hate? What is it that is telling a story across all of the pieces? We're really interested in what makes you, you, and why you create that work. So we really encourage you to be conceptual in your work. So sometimes, our ideas are deeper than they first seem. So you can see there are a couple examples of students. All of this work here is student work. It's students that have been accepted to SAIC. Down in the right corner, you can see there's a photograph that a student submitted as a piece of their portfolio, and they actually embroidered that on top of the photo. So they impeded that. So that's it's not just a photo, you're doing something else to it. In the center there's this image of this box, and you can see these hands going into it. This was an example that a student submitted where they encouraged observers to put their hands in this box, feel around, and then draw what they were feeling. So that's a really interesting way of experiential art, something that we don't normally see. So what is your process? Again, each school is different. They'll want to see perhaps a build-up to the actual final piece, or we could see a sketchbook. Many students right now are showing us GIFs of their sketchbook. So they're taking image shots of their sketchbook and then putting it in a GIF maker and rotating that around so we get a good idea of what your thinking is like. We're very, very interested in your thinking skills. Okay, this is very, very important. Document your work. Document everything that you're making. Take good pictures of everything, making sure that there is nothing else distracting from the artwork itself. And I'll show you some examples of what not to do in a second here. But it's really very important that you are focusing on the work itself. We don't want to see a bunch of text on the image. We don't want to see distractions. We want to see, we really want to see you celebrating the work. So the image in full scale, full blown. You'll have an opportunity in Slide Room, which I'll talk about, which is the platform that you submit your portfolio in, to add descriptions, etc. But for documenting your work, make sure that you are taking good photographs of everything that you make. And so be mindful of the presentation. We like to say, curate your portfolio just as if you were going into an exhibit, right? Things are placed intentionally. When you walk into an art museum or a gallery, things are intentionally placed. Things are put next to each other on purpose. These are 3 really good examples of a student that designed some shoes. And so the student has not only given us some context about these are urban streetwear shoes, they've placed the photographs are nice and crisp, they've highlighted the product itself, and then they've shown an image of a person actually wearing the product. On the top there are some architectural models. So this is really great because the student, this is one piece, right? These 3 images count as one piece. So they're giving us an idea of what this object looks like in 3 different points of view. So giving us a good idea that the student has really thought through conceptually 360 how this is viewed. And then in the top corner, these are some artist books. So these are great documentations of, what these artist books really look like. They're giving us a good idea of, how they've used non-traditional means. They've used some experimental binding. They've really just focusing on the artwork, clean backgrounds, focusing on the work itself. So slide room. Slide room is where you will be submitting your portfolio. Now, this is really important. This is the view that I see when I'm reviewing your portfolio. So you can imagine if on this beautiful piece of art, there was a bunch of text or there was busyness around it, I would lose focus. I wouldn't even know what I'm supposed to be looking at. Is it this or is it something else? You do have an opportunity to put a title in slide room on the side. You have an opportunity to put a description, and please put the size to give us some sort of idea of the context of how large or small the piece is. But again, the image should be focused specifically on the artwork itself. So make sure you don't crowd the page. This is an example of a student that uploaded a PDF that has these teeny tiny stamp-like images that I can't even see what the work is. The top image is, what is that? Are they trying to show me a fashion piece? Are they a photographer? What is this crazy background? What is the focus here? I can't really tell, what they want me to look at. If it's the actual garments that they want me to look at, then they should have images of the garment and the model, that's fine, but none of this distracting background. So it's really very important to put no more than 3 images per page, no more than 3 images per page, because we won't be able to look at it and then we won't be able to evaluate it. Remember to experiment. This is very important. 1 or 2 experimental pieces is always a good thing. In the bottom corner, you can see somebody took some rocks. A student took a rock and started painting on the rocks themselves. There's a story behind these rocks. It gives me, an idea that this person is thinking beyond the canvas. There are some other images here in the top right corner where somebody's using found objects, multiple layers. It's a 3D effect. They're using collage and fiber and really kind of thinking outside of the actual canvas space. Then there's some digital manipulation. If you're into digital illustration, that's kind of an interesting image of playing on perspective. And then don't be afraid to have fun, show us, what you're really excited about. That may be a series of gifts that you send back and forth to your friend, like the top right corner. But it's something interesting that shows us a little bit about how you're taking your ideas and developing them into a different medium. You may be showing us something that you've done outside of the classroom that you're really obsessed about. We're really interested in those areas that you're obsessed about. Here are some things to avoid. These are a definite no-no. The images, the top left one where they're showing the spiral of their sketchbook, the image isn't that bad, but then they're showing us the spiral. We just want to see the image, no lined paper, no illustrations, no drawings on lined paper. The bottom left is, paintings put on a table with all sorts of other, objects around it. So I don't know what I'm looking at. Am I supposed to be looking at the painting or the wine bottles or the candles? None of that. Not to mention they put a filter over top of it. So I can't even tell whether these are the right colors for this painting or not. Avoid fan art, especially if you're if you're interested in animation. We're not interested in you redrawing something that already exists. Develop your own characters. If you go to work for Disney or Marvel, they want to see you developing something that hasn't been created yet, something that you have wholeheartedly created. Also, another no-no, these thoughts, absolutely not. We are not interested in how many likes you got from anybody. We are just interested in the artwork itself. So even if you have not documented your work and all you have are your Instagram shots, crop those down so that we're not seeing anything about your phone or the likes. We're just seeing the artwork itself. So if anybody out there is interested in animation and game design or illustration portfolios, these are examples of portfolios of students that were accepted to a couple different schools. And you can see here that, the focus is really about the story. They're telling a story. Each illustration itself, there's something that tells us a story. This person has also included some of their technical expertise, meaning like we understand that they can draw. Now they take that into the digital world and kind of exploit it. The bottom left is character development. So we want to see the twists and the turns and kind of this character in different scenarios, if that's what you're interested in. These are really good examples of pieces that we've seen. Architecture portfolios. For SAIC, if you are interested in architecture, you do not need to have any architectural pieces in your portfolio. We just want to see your best work. We understand that you are going to art school. If you are going to art school to be an architect, you may not know how to build models yet. We will teach you how to do that. But if you do know how to build models, then these are some examples of images that we've seen as a part of portfolio. Again, taking the one object, taking a couple different photos of it in different point of views. Here's a model that was built that is very clean. There's no distraction behind it, a perspective drawing, and then some experimental work. Fashion portfolios. Resist the urge to have a portfolio center put together your fashion portfolio. Those portfolios get very, very poor scores because we know that somebody else put them together. I have viewed, and we have all viewed thousands of portfolios, and we can tell when something has come straight out of a portfolio center. So it's bad form, don't do it. This is an example of just a genuine fashion portfolio, somebody that's interested in fashion. They focused on the materiality, the garment, a little bit about the process and how they experimented with different material and fibers, and then an end result, an image of an end result. It does not have to be a fancy photo shoot. It doesn't have to be crazy ideas about, crazy over the top models or anything like that. This is kind of a humble representation of a student that really did the work. And that's what we're interested in. We want to make sure that we know that you did the work. Up in the right-hand corner, you can see that on the mannequin there, they have the garment draped, and then they have a photo, a close-up photo of the butterflies that are attached to the accoutrement that are attached to the garment there. Really great ideas, very simple, very beautiful. We have an idea. I can tell that this person knows a bit about fashion and that they're committed to their technique. So lastly, I wanted to talk about pre-college programs, and then I'll open it up for any questions that you may have. But the majority, especially the ACAD schools, again, ACAD schools, apply to ACAD schools. Those are the best ones. Those are the elites go to. The job opportunity, job placement is in the 90% for students that graduate from those programs. They're like the Ivy League for art schools. Most of us have pre-college programs. So if you maybe are in grade 10, grade 11, and you're interested in doing an online pre-college program, they're taught by faculty. You can earn college credit for it. You have an opportunity to apply for these programs and get money to attend. You can be a part of an exhibit. These are great things to add into your portfolio for your actual submission to art school. So let me see what else I have. Take a screenshot of my email address and email me with any questions that you may have. If you want to share your portfolio with me, I'd be happy to walk through it with you, give you any sort of direction, areas where you could improve, areas where you need to really celebrate the good work. Perhaps you need some direction on documentation. That's fine. I also didn't mention, you do have the opportunity to submit time-based work. So if you're doing animation work, if you're doing videos, we're not interested in full-length feature films, but anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes of time-based media, you can submit video content as well. So with that, I will go back to the room.
Anita, I think you can just stop screen sharing maybe and. Okay, great, superb. So we see that there are a couple of questions that have come in. So maybe I can read it out for you, Anita.
Okay.
Just 1 second. Okay, so Anamitra wants to ask, what is the maximum scholarship that someone can expect in postgraduate programs?
So international students have an opportunity to earn up to 30% of tuition costs for merit scholarship. That's why it's incredibly important that you have a really solid portfolio. SAIC also requests an artist statement, and your GPA also does count. So if you are on the borderline of not really a great GPA, you have a couple semesters to boost it. That will definitely help. But the two main pieces are your portfolio and your artist statement. But again, in order to get the maximum amount of money, your portfolio needs to be really good, and it needs to be curated, and it needs to be looked over by an admissions officer before you submit your application.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Then Anushka wants to ask, what kind of portfolio will I need to apply for an undergraduate course on interior design?
So again, you do not need to have any interior design pieces in your portfolio. You can have painting and drawing. You can have any of the projects that you did in your art classes, any projects that you've done outside of class. That's perfectly fine. We just need to see your best work. We need to understand that you're committed to your artistic practice and that you have critical thinking skills. So to show color swatches and mood boards and all of that. We're just really looking for finished artwork. And because when you enter SAIC, your first year, you will be taking some compulsory classes. After that, you have an opportunity to take classes across the 17 different departments, as well as applying to the interior design track. So I would not stress at all about not having interior design or interior architecture pieces in your portfolio.
Wonderful. Thank you. The next question is by Labdi Jain. She wants to ask, what portfolio is expected if I want to pursue UI UX design?
Okay, so you should probably have a little bit of digital content in there. Most of the UI UX portfolios, their focus is around graphic design. So if you have projects that are packaging projects, design thinking projects, even if you don't have any of that and your portfolio is all paintings, you still have an opportunity to go down the pathway of UI UX. We see painters, people that are involved in painting and drawing, because if you think about it, the canvas, a painting canvas is almost the same as a screen. You still have to have solid design principles, hierarchy, rhythm, balance. You need to redirect somebody's eye around a canvas just like you would a screen. So again, I wouldn't stress about having something that's very specific to UI UX. You're coming to art school to learn how to do that. We don't expect that you know that already.
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you. So, next question is by Manali. I want to know about what are the opportunities available out in the world. Any suggestion for course which I can do? Also, is architectural portfolio different than other portfolios? So, just for a background, she has completed her bachelor's in architecture.
Oh, okay, great. So, and you're interested in
She wants to ask what are the opportunities that are available in the world right now, and any suggestion for the course that she can do, with this background that she has. And she wants to ask if her architectural portfolio is different than all the other portfolios.
okay. So if you're going into if master's program, your architecture portfolio will be a little bit different for sure. And again, you should make an appointment with a graduate school admissions counselor, and they will direct you on what you need to put into that portfolio. But in terms of jobs, the architecture field is actually booming. And one of the interesting things about SAIC is that this interdisciplinary approach to architecture, where you're really thinking about it in the five senses. So you're thinking about, the interior, the exterior, your sense of sight, smell, touch, all of those things. Sound is a big piece. So many of our architecture students spend a lot of time in sound, really thinking about acoustics and adding in elements from those other departments. But in terms of, if you're asking me about opportunities about jobs, we have a career department. It's career experience, where we help students and we shepherd students and direct them to make sure that they're prepared for life after art school. So we connect them with, in your case, we would connect you with architecture firms. You would do an internship at either one or three firms, small, medium, large. We would help you curate your portfolio. We would also, help you network with people in that field. But in the US in general, the architecture field is booming.
Wonderful, great insights. Okay, so we cannot take all the questions, but we'll try to take as many as we can. But Anita will be available in her booth. SAIC has a booth. So in case if we are not able to answer all of your questions, you know where to go. Just head to her booth and she will help you out with your questions. But I am going to take a few more. So the next one is from Milind. So Milind says, I am a photographer, graphic designer, and as an artist, what do I do? Do I put all of these subjects in one portfolio, or should I present separate work?
You can present all of those in one portfolio as long as it's your best work. We love that. We absolutely love that. I mean, I think you would have a field day at SAIC because many of our Our photography folks are, like I said, they're in sound, they're in performance, they're in art and technology. You'll be able to go fluidly back and forth through all those different departments. So I would encourage you all of those pieces, as long as they're your best work and they're something that you're proud of. Again, meeting with an admissions officer or signing up for a portfolio review is the best thing that you can do for yourself.
Wonderful, great. So Smriti wants to ask, should I focus on including in my portfolio if I want to join an automobile design college and also get scholarship for the same? So she wants to basically study automobile design and is asking what kind of portfolio can she create for that?
Okay, so for automotive design, you should look at College for Creative Studies, CCS, in Detroit. And you should go to their website and look exactly what the requirements are for a portfolio in automotive design. They are one of the best art schools for that in particular. They're situated in Detroit, which is the capital of the automobile industry in the US. And so they partner with the major automotive makers, and those people that actually work in the design areas for those different car manufacturers also teach at that school. So I would say it's College for Creative Studies out of Detroit. And you can email me and I can give you the admission counselor's information. She would be happy to help you put together a portfolio.
Wonderful, that's great. So I have put Anita's email in the chat box. Yeah, right. So please take it from there. We'll add it again. And as I said, you can even meet her in the booth. I'm just going to take 2 or 3 more. So Ivan is asking, hope to cope if I am lacking in technical skills a little bit, but I have a really solid and interesting developed concepts.
That's great. Go with your strengths. It's not necessary that, we're not interested in you drawing a bowl of fruit exactly how it looks. We want to see how you interpret that bowl of fruit. So if your technical skills you feel aren't there, you will gain technical skills in art school. You will be doing a lot of drawing and experimenting with different mediums. We're interested in how you think. So if your work is conceptual and you're experimenting and you're really, showing us, communicating an idea through your making, you're in a good spot.
Wonderful. So I'm just going to take the last one and then, we'll request Anita to head to her booth. So Prabir wants to ask, are architecture portfolios tend to be digital or can they also be showcased through sketches?
Both, all, yes, absolutely. It does not have to be any one way. You can submit a portfolio that has sketches, paintings, digital work, all of the different mediums. That's absolutely fine.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Anita. Actually, there are a lot of questions and I'm sorry, but we're running out of time. So can't take all. But as I said, Anita will be in her booth, right? So please go and meet her there. She'll try and answer as much as questions that she can. And, as the email is already mentioned, I'll put it one more time in the chat box. You can always reach out to her and I'm sure she'll help you all with it.
Yeah.
So wonderful, Anita. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. This session was beautiful. So I'm sure the students learned a lot and really know how to create an impressive portfolio. So thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, feel free to email me. Absolutely. Any additional questions, or come visit me in my booth.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much,
Thank
students.
you.
Thanks. You can see Anita in her booth, and all the other booths are also open. So feel free to, join in. And the expo will be open till 2 p.m. Right? Thank you so much again. Thanks,
Thank
Anita.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.